and welcome to Never Seen It, a podcast about movies we haven't seen yet. My name is Trent. I'm here with my wife, Betsy.
Hi, everybody.
We have survived the time travel through time and space and time and time.
The decades.
We've also survived the apocalypse of Oppenheimer. And Betsy, what better way to come out of that than to watch a movie about the end of the world?
As foretold by Oppenheimer.
Indeed. Betsy, we're watching The World's End, the third in a trilogy that is referred to as the Cornetto Trilogy. Now, Betsy, neither of us have seen this particular movie.
I don't know how we have managed that because you and I both have really enjoyed the last two entries.
Yeah.
Shaun of the Dead.
Yep.
And Hot Fuzz. And it took me a long time to get you to watch Hot Fuzz.
Yeah, and I had seen Shaun of the Dead a long time before you and I even knew each other. And yeah, it took you a while for me to sit down. It's like, okay, maybe I don't know if this is going to be good or not, because I wasn't all that sold on Shaun of the Dead at the time. I came around eventually. And yes, Hot Fuzz is really good.
But that being said, for being fans, for some reason, we didn't see this when it was in the theater. We didn't see it since it's been available for 10 years.
Yeah.
It's celebrating 10 years, like this month or something.
And we've owned this trilogy on the 4K set disc thing for probably 2 or 3 years since it's been out anyway.
We're very bad movie people.
Now, I have a question.
Yes.
It's called the Cornetto Trilogy. What does that come from? I honestly do not know.
Okay, so this is a ice cream treat. The Cornetto is like a coned ice cream thing that you can buy at like the corner gas station.
Okay.
And in each of these movies, they have the main characters eating a
One
Cornetto.
of those things.
And that is just something that has been a through line through all of these movies. So there's a different flavor, and I don't remember offhand which one goes to what.
Yeah.
But it's like, I think Shaun of the Dead, he's eating a strawberry one because red, blood.
You got red on you?
Uh-huh. There's a mint one, I think. I can't remember the third one. But each of these movies...
we haven't seen the movie, so...
Right, but each of these movies, the main character
Okay.
is enjoying an ice cream treat. And I think the reason that you and I wouldn't immediately know that is that's not something we have in America.
No, we do not. So my history with these movies is that I have seen Shaun of the Dead maybe 3 times. I know at least twice because I watched it once by myself and another time with you. I've only seen Hot Fuzz, I think, twice with you. So I don't have this like big, long... memory of these movies. I don't remember every single thing except, you got red on you and the sequence with Simon Pegg hopping the fences as he's trying to escape something or whatever.
A shortcut. You never heard of a shortcut?
Is it actually Simon Pegg or is it Nick Frost?
Yeah, it is Simon Pegg.
Okay.
And in the first one, I think he collapses the fence.
Yeah.
And in the second one, he's like doing crazy parkour over the fence and it's clearly not him. So I would assume that there's going to be some of those repeated jokes. That is the most likely candidate is the shortcut bit. And it's just how they interpret it in this movie.
Yeah.
I know a lot of the same actors are going to make an appearance.
Yeah,
Simon Pegg, Nick Frost.
It's those two for sure. They're on the poster.
Martin Freeman is in this one.
Okay.
A couple of the other guys I recognize because they're, those British actors that are kind of in everything. And like, so I think at least one was in Hot Fuzz or they've been in these movies somewhere.
Sure.
So I recognize them. I don't know their names off the top of my head. And then of course it's directed by Edgar Wright.
Yes. And Edgar Wright is a guy that Betsy and I just love everything that he does.
That we've seen.
That we've seen
There
so
is
far.
some stuff we haven't seen.
There's some stuff we haven't seen, like One Night in Soho. We haven't seen that yet. Eventually we will cover for the podcast. Maybe soon. I have no idea. But like the Scott Pilgrim movie is one of our favorites. These 2 other movies that we've already talked about are fantastic. Baby Driver is an unrated gem. That's really fucking awesome.
He's another one of those directors that has a really distinct style.
Yeah.
And I can understand how it might feel overwhelming. Like the first time I saw Scott Pilgrim or the first time I saw Hot Fuzz, I'm like, what the hell is this?
It took me watching Scott Pilgrim with you for you to really get it, I think, because at first you really didn't get all the references and whatnot with me saying like, okay, this is a video game thing, or this is some other kind of geek shit.
Oh yeah, he's a geeky man.
Yeah.
Edgar Wright. He loves movies and video games and nerdy shit.
Yes.
But he definitely has a style. I'm excited to finally finish this trilogy. I'm a bad person, a bad fan for waiting this long.
All right, let's go finish the damn trilogy. We're going to go watch The World's End. We'll be right back. And we are back. Betsy, we made it to The World's End. Having a pint? What did you think?
First of all, I would not participate in this activity because I don't like beer.
No,
I don't drink.
Neither of us would do this.
This movie is really silly and fun, and it turns on a dime. Like, I knew, we didn't say it in the intro, but I knew there were aliens.
We didn't talk about what we knew about the movie, but just... the short version is I knew they were going to do a pub crawl, and by the end there's going to be some kind of alien doings.
I knew there was an alien invasion of some kind, but the beginning is just kind of this like, okay, we're kind of plodding along, and then it goes to about a 15 very, very dramatically and doesn't come back down from that point.
Yeah.
And so it's just a jarring turn, but is hysterical when it gets to it, and then it just goes full throttle to the end of the movie. And we were just reading all of the different facts about like the behind the scene things, and just if you're really watching closely, all the stuff in plain sight that you miss.
Things you're not going to see the first time you watch it.
This is definitely a movie that I'm going to have to watch several times until I start getting the jokes. It wasn't until a couple of years ago that I realized, because I was told, I didn't realize it, that Peter Jackson has a cameo in Hot Fuzz. So you think there isn't layered shit in this movie that I completely missed this viewing?
Mean, speaking of Peter Jackson, the sword that Gary has at the very, very end of the movie is a replica of Gandalf's sword.
Of course it is.
From the Lord of the Rings.
It's really nerdy, like we said. But yes, I enjoyed this. I don't know where it's going to end up ranking, but because all of these have taken me a few watches to really appreciate.
Yeah.
I think I will reserve my placement in the Cornetto Trilogy until I see it again.
Yes, like, you have to really... Like, I wasn't sold on both of the movies prior to this. Like, I had to see Shaun of the Dead a couple of times to really understand, oh, this is really funny.
Oh, and this is funny.
Yeah, this was really funny too. But again, you have to be able to appreciate it that much more by watching it a couple of times.
Right, and you get a lot of the Edgar Wright tropes where it's quick edits and the music is very important. He's very specific about his music cues, and there's a lot of that Mickey Mousing going on where it lines up, or everybody's moving in a very specific way at a very specific time.
Right, and there's a lot of that to be done in a movie where there's a lot of fight scenes.
Yes, and I was watching this thinking, I would be willing to bet that the fight scenes in this and the way he directs them had something, a little bit maybe, to do with why he got tied into Ant-Man when it was first coming out. Now, he didn't ultimately make it, but if you remember, he was signed on, and there is a questionable amount of that movie that was directed by Edgar Wright.
Yes, and I think, didn't he also write some of the screenplay to Ant-Man, the first one?
Yeah, so it would have been interesting to see how he would have executed that if he had stuck with the project.
And a lot of the humor is very similar to his too.
It's very quick. Like, if anything in Ant-Man screams Edgar Wright, it's his friend who is telling the story about what he's been through at a mile a minute, and there's a lot of quick cuts, and that is the stuff that is very Edgar Wright.
Yes.
But we're not talking about Ant-Man. We're talking about The World's End. And the thing that I always go back to with him is you have this very silly premise with this group of guys. Him and Nick Frost and Simon Pegg are the three repeats, and then there's a number of people that show up more than once. Martin Freeman is actually in all three. He's just got very small parts in the other two. This is the biggest role he's got in the three. But when you get these three together, the main message is about male friendship.
It is. And like the thing that I was really getting out of this wasn't just that, but this movie was made 10 years ago, and these characters are all around our ages now.
Yeah.
So, like, Rosamund Pike is in this, and she says, I'm pushing 40. And, yeah, and so are we. So the attitudes that they're kind of presenting here, I can identify with because, I'm 38, you're 38, we both have, like, corporate jobs.
Now,
where like I work or used to work in an office, you now work in a very corporate office. And, there's a thing about growing older and not being so fun anymore.
There's nothing wrong with being a grown-up, but it's when you stop long enough to think about what have I become that you realize I used to be young and wild and crazy. Like these 5 guys did like the stupidest thing they could think of the night they graduated from, I guess, high school. I don't know what they call it there.
Yeah.
In 1990, and Simon Pegg starts the movie narrating what they did, and it was the greatest night of his life.
Right.
And it's never going to get any better than that.
Right, and you start this movie as this rite of passage, like you're going to do the golden mile, because when you're that age, you can probably maybe hold your liquor a little bit better. I mean, at this point in their lives, who knows how much the drinking they've actually done?
Right.
I know the drinking age is a lot lower in the UK.
But in this little town where nothing ever happens, it's the most epic thing you can do.
Yeah.
And now they're all pushing 40. One guy is a lawyer. One guy owned a business, and now he works at a lower level because he got bought out. But they all have like suit and tie kind of jobs.
Right.
Where they're on their phone all day and they're on their Bluetooth and they're in important business meetings.
Yeah, Martin Freeman is a realtor. One guy sells cars, but he's also a partner at the company that his dad owns. And the construction guy, Steven, he started a business. His business got bought out, but he's still there running it. So he got paid. He doesn't really need to do this, but he's just good at what he does.
And now he can have a low-stress job in what he was already doing.
Exactly. And it's like these guys are all like set. Like Nick Frost, he works for a law firm. He is a partner in a law firm.
His name is on the sign.
His name is on the door / window / whatever it is.
So yeah, these are grown-ups. They're married or, separated, divorced.
Some of them got kids.
Some of them have kids. They have moved well beyond this time of their lives. Meanwhile, you juxtapose that with Gary, Simon Pegg's character, who peaked on that night and has never let it go.
Because he never actually accomplished the goal. And that's very much an Arrested Development kind of a development in your life at that point. Because if you are building up this event, this activity that you're going to do with your best friends, and you really can't see much past that thing, your mind gets a little fucked up.
It's the kickstart. It is the beginning of the rest of your life. It is the first day of the rest of your life.
And if you tell yourself that this is such an important event in your like rite of passage, like I said, if it doesn't happen, you don't accomplish it, what do? You didn't plan anything past that, and you didn't get past it. So what happens? You become kind of a burnout.
He's really lost. He doesn't grow up. He never changes anything. He's wearing the same outfit. He's driving the same car. He has the same tape.
I appreciate the same car thing. That takes, oh man. If I could just own the original car I had in high school, I wouldn't do all the things that he did with it.
You'd have to, though. It wouldn't run. That's the only reason he did it.
I'm not saying I would drive it. I just want to have it.
But that defeats the purpose. If you're going to keep the car, drive the car.
Yeah.
Which is why his friends are all like, oh my gosh, that looks just like it. And he's like, what do you mean? It is.
It is, except for all of the things inside of it.
And you get that vibe right away from all of them. They're like, this guy's kind of pathetic.
Yeah.
Like they also clearly have not seen him in a very long time.
They haven't seen each other in a very long time. All of them. Probably in like 10 years or so.
There's a couple passing references to 10 years.
Yeah.
So my assumption is that the majority of the group has not been together in 10 years.
Yep.
And then him and Andy haven't seen each other in longer.
Yeah.
And as the story unfolds, you find out more and more that it's really a dark reason why they haven't seen each other.
There's been like different moments in time where everybody keeps falling out of the group. Like Andy, they keep talking about this accident.
Andy's accident.
They keep on bringing up throughout the entire movie, and it isn't until near the end where they finally reveal what happens, and it's really fucked up. Like, Andy and Gary are out on the town somewhere, and Gary, I guess, is doing drugs, and he ODs, and Andy is drunk. He's completely drunk. Like, they were not expecting to have to drive here.
No, they were still young and having fun.
Right. So Gary's ODing, and Andy has to get into the car and drive him to the hospital because he needs to try to save his life. Well, in reality, he rolls the car because he's drunk, and he's almost killed in the process. But I guess jostling around in the car, Gary like snaps out of it and runs away.
Yeah. So he almost loses his life trying to save his friend's life.
Yeah.
And his thank you is he pisses off into the night and he doesn't see him again until he's having this conversation, basically.
Pretty much.
And that's really a dark place to have this story set in this like funny comedy about friends doing a pub crawl.
Yeah, it is. And I appreciate the fact that they do kind of couch it in some kind of, serious reality because, when you're that age, you don't have time for a lot of bullshit.
No. And like they have the scene where Gary goes to the bathroom right before everything goes to a 15.
Yeah.
Gary goes off and the rest of the group is like, I can't really help but feel sad for him.
Yeah.
Like they all at one time were genuinely friends and they hung out all the time and they seem like they're really happy to see each other, the other four guys.
Yeah.
And then as the night wears on and they've had a couple of drinks and they're loosening up, they start to remember things and they're swapping stories and, oh, remember that stupid thing you did? Oh, that funny thing you did.
Which at that point you would think, okay, if this was a normal movie, this is where things start to come out and they're going to reconnect and they start like when one of the guys like really opens up about being bullied back in high school. That was a genuine moment.
Yeah, he has a very open moment where he's talking about it's not the fact that the bully bullied me. It's the fact that he looked me right in the face and he didn't even respect me enough to remember who I was.
Right.
And this is before, of course, we know the reason for that.
Right.
But Gary comes over and he starts screaming shots, shots, shots because he's completely fucked up. He's been doing drugs.
Yeah.
He's been abandoning his friends and he's been drinking extra when they're not. He's bullying them into doing more shots. He's just too out of control for them. And it's really hard when you see your friends like that.
Yeah, and especially when you are in a much, relatively better place. When you see somebody and maybe you're looking down on them a little bit, but then you have to remember, okay, this is why they're like this. And they don't really dig that deep into it. And it's not until the end, until they get to the world's end, where Gary just comes out and says it. I had my entire life to look ahead to, and I wasn't able to accomplish this one thing. I just saw nothing. I have nothing else but this. And
the movie opens with him in some kind of a support group.
Yeah.
And you don't get the context for what that is because you were like, what is this? Is he like in prison? And I said, no, I think he's in like rehab. It looks like a rehab.
Yeah, it looks like some kind of hospital or, a rehab facility.
And the big reveal at the end is he tried to kill himself.
Yeah.
Because clearly Andy knows this because when they're trying to compare each other, like the aliens can clone you from your DNA. All they have to do is get a hold of your DNA.
Right.
And when the group gets separated and then reunited, now they're all suspicious that they're not each other.
Yeah, and Gary doesn't want to show his arms because then that would reveal,
Right, because Andy knows what happened to him. He says, show us your arms. And he's like, no, I won't do it. Like, he's really fucked up. And you don't know as the viewer why he refuses to show his arms.
Right.
And then Andy is literally chasing him through the street while they're being pursued by these aliens who were trying to kill them and, absorb them or whatever.
Yes.
He's chasing him to the last two pubs, trying to stop him from getting a drink because he cares so much about his friend that he wants him to stop fucking up his entire life.
Right.
And he grabs him and out pop his wrists. And all of a sudden you, the viewer, are like, wow, Gary is really a mess.
Yeah.
He's really had a hard time. It's much more complicated than they're letting on. And you know something happened to him because the whole movie, he would not be acting like this if he was an adjusted human being.
Sure. And like, I don't know what the actual word, the word is for like the acts that he is going through here to relive his entire like youth with all of his boyhood friends and finally trying to accomplish this one thing. And then like, if this whole alien thing didn't happen, what was Gary gonna do? I have a big question about that, but we don't get that answer, Betsy. I think this is where we need to talk about the rest of the movie because we've already talked about all these serious nature, and I really appreciated all that stuff because, hey, it's prescient to our lives.
Like I said.
Yeah, we both have these big-ass jobs, and it's really hard to actually go out and like see friends and have a social life, and yeah.
It can cost you relationships. Like
Totally.
Andy, his wife left him because he isn't present because he works too hard.
Right.
And so he's trying to get her back. And it's not until the world ends and everybody goes back to a very organic, non-electric way of living.
A very analog
life.
life.
A very analog life that they actually get back together. But this is what I'm saying. Edgar Wright and Simon Pegg and Nick Frost together, that dynamic, because in real life, those three are really good friends. Like
Absolutely.
Nick Frost and Simon Pegg are just like they're friendship goals.
Yeah, they are inseparable.
Those two dudes are in their 50s now. I think Simon Pegg either just turned 50 or is about to turn 50.
Sure.
And Nick Frost is just a little older. They have known each other now for like 30 years. They have done how many movies together?
Right.
Even
outside of this trilogy and just Edgar Wright.
Highly recommend following both of them on social media because
yeah.
when they get together, it's really a good time.
Yeah, and just Simon Pegg himself is very prolific.
Oh, on social media, absolutely.
Yes.
But yeah, the fact that they are really friends makes it kind of magical watching this trilogy in particular because they channel all that in different ways. And it's always a little different, like the dynamic between who their characters are. They're always playing slightly different versions.
Yeah.
Of a character.
Yeah, and it's not until, Andy gets a little bit liquored up that it really starts to come out again.
The real Nick Frost. Body slamming.
Yep.
Wrestling dudes in the bathroom.
Right. Popping heads off.
And that's actually before he even takes a drink.
Some of them, yeah.
But those action sequences, yes. So we get to the big reveal that not only has Gary lied about his mom dying, but there's aliens in this town. And those two things happen simultaneously.
Yep.
But you don't know that it's going to happen until he is just talking to this kid and he's just trying to be like, I was once like you, young and alive.
Right. He's trying to relate. He's trying to be this young person.
Stay where he was.
Yeah.
Never change, never grow because real life is scary.
Right.
But instead, the guy's like, I wouldn't do that. And it turns into insanity. He is wrestling him. He is being thrown about the bathroom. And ultimately, he decapitates this robot and there's blue goo spilling everywhere.
Uh-huh.
And the friends all come in and they're more concerned about that. And Andy is still hung up on, you lied about your mom being dead, ignoring the fact there is a decapitated body.
Don't try to change the subject.
Don't change the subject. And then all the rest of the guys come in.
Yeah.
And it just turns into this absolute anarchy in a bathroom. And that was fucking wild. That whole scene was wild.
Yeah. Because you don't know what's going on at that point. You don't know if, is this just the kids, the teenagers?
Is this an isolated incident?
Like, is this, widespread, or do we need to call someone? And then at the end of that whole sequence, they do try to call someone, and none of their cell phones work.
And it's all the things that he's really good, Edgar Wright, is about layering the truth right in front of you.
Yep.
But you don't see it until you go back and watch it a second time.
Or read all the trivia.
Apparently, all of the different pubs are numbered 1 through 12.
Yep.
And there's a 1 through a 12 hidden in the background somewhere.
In every bar, yep.
There's a symbol for the Golden Mile, and it is in every single bar. All of the cars in town have been replaced by a uniform electric vehicle. They're just in different colors to be reflective of the fact that this society has been changed a little bit, a little more uniform. And because they're just 5 dudes out drinking, they're oblivious to the fact that anything unusual is happening.
Yeah, and you as an audience, you are focused on them because at this point you don't know what's happening in the movie yet.
Well, that's one of my favorite things about Shaun of the Dead is Shaun is so oblivious that he doesn't see all the shit happening in the background. And even the first time, you, the viewer, almost don't notice it.
Right.
But if you just stop looking at him
subtle.
And look behind him, it's a lot more apparent what you are missing.
Yeah, and honestly, after watching this, I just kind of want to go and watch Shaun of the Dead again because it's a similar type of a thing. It's zombies in one and aliens in another, supernatural things.
Yeah, and in Hot Fuzz, the culprit is more human.
Right.
It is extremely silly.
It is. It is. No spoilers for those two.
But there are humans at play versus this one and the first one,
correct,
which are not humans.
Right. So that's why I want to watch that movie again, just to see if he does the same kinds of things outside of the normal things he always does. Because we mentioned it in the intro, the things that are in every single one of these 3 movies. Number 1, the Cornetto ice cream thing.
There is either someone enjoying an ice cream treat or in this one, a wrapper. Right. I was thinking this one was mint and this one is mint.
It is green, and all of them are different colors. The first one is red, symbolizing all of the bloodshed that they're going to have with all the zombies. The second one is blue, signifying cops.
Yup.
And this one is green, which is the mint flavor, which is, I guess, aliens?
Extraterrestrials?
Sure, little green men, but they all have blue goo.
They're not even technically...
They're not aliens.
Aliens. So they don't say exactly what they are because they say we're not robots. Don't call us robots. They're not robots.
We also don't see, like, the head leader. The head leader is just a bunch of light.
Well, none of them actually have a physical being. They just have created these, I guess, androids, if they don't want to be called robots.
Sure.
And they just take over that as a vessel. But they can, they're more complicated. They can use DNA and replicate a human being.
Sure, they don't go into that.
And it's a slow invasion where they're basically in this community. And it's revealed that this actually happened on the night that they were all trying to do this in 1990.
Right, there's a falling star or shooting star or something happening in that scene.
If you're paying attention.
Yeah, there's something happening there where that's where the aliens arrived.
That's where they arrived. And they just are slowly integrating into society, and they are the network. They are bringing humanity peace and joy and technology, basically.
Yeah, they talk about, do you remember in the past 30 years, all the advancements...
The boom.
All the advancements in technology, computers and the internet and cell phones and everything, that's all us. And when they leave, when they're defeated, let's say, that all goes away. It ceases to work.
Yes, they blow up the network. They just finally say, fuck it. They literally say, fuck it, because they are so tired of the stubborn, belligerent 3 drunks who are just telling them, human beings don't like being told what to do, so fuck off. We're not listening anymore. And after several minutes of that, they're just like, okay, fine. But it causes this massive surge where they kind of rip. I don't know if they're literally blowing up or ripping out and taking with them how it's working, but all of the electricity, all of the power, all of the things that they have built in 30 years is gone.
Right, and of course, they don't go into that. Of course, it's easy to replicate that technology. You have all the plans and whatever else.
Trent,
in this world...
If it was all the alien species, this futuristic... super intelligent.
They tricked us.
If they came and did the work, who amongst the humans is actually able to recreate it?
Whomst amongst us would know how to rebuild all that stuff.
That's what I'm saying.
I get it.
If there's this massive surge and then we get kind of a postscript where Andy is telling the children in front of a fire of the time that was and where we are now, and they are all living in a post-apocalyptic world.
Yeah, and we were right. It is the end of the world.
Yeah, genuinely. I mean, they didn't all die, but he says there were casualties.
Yeah, we don't
really know how many.
Yeah, we don't know how many people died because we can no longer get in touch with the outside world.
No, you can't connect with people in the same way.
Right.
And I'm sure there is a massive metaphor here that I could dig into.
I don't know.
About connectivity and your friends and the past meeting the future.
Where you don't actually need all that technology. You just have to come together and sit around a fire.
Well, Trent, the end of the movie is Gary has gone off with the younger versions of his friend group.
Correct.
He killed his own little avatar dude, whatever you want to call him.
Yep.
Because he says, there's only one of me, fuckers. And he takes on the other 4, and they are reliving his glory days in the hellscape that is planet Earth now, I guess.
Right, and he's finally found his calling, let's say. Which I don't even know what that is. Because why would he team up with the blanks?
Because it's like any high school like clique or gang. There is a leader and there are followers. And in his real life, he was the leader and his 4 friends were the followers. Well, they have all either died and been replaced, or they're off doing their own thing.
Yeah, I guess the younger friends have the memory thing where, hey, I remember Gary King.
And he's the best thing, and he's our leader.
Right.
So we're going to follow him.
And when they were that young, they did look up to Gary.
Yeah, he was the cool guy.
Right.
It's just that they didn't realize that was the best he was going to get.
Yeah, but again, he finds this calling where he's going to go around and do what? He barges into this bar that does not allow the blanks in there, and he asks for water. I just don't understand what's going on there.
Well, it's a couple of things. One, he's sober.
He is, yeah.
That's the big thing, is he's sober.
Sure.
2, I think he's doing the crawl because he was at one of the pubs in the town.
Yeah?
I think they are just continually trying to finish the circuit. They're trying to do the Golden Mile. But him and his new little gang that will do whatever he says.
With his Gandalf sword.
With his Gandalf sword. That's right. We've talked about this before, too, I think. There are people in the world who would thrive in the apocalypse.
Oh, hell yeah.
They are not fit for life as it is now.
Yeah,
they always will struggle.
They're preparing for that right now.
Well,
again, they call them preppers.
Well, that, but then there's also just people who are really resourceful and smart.
Sure.
And manage to stay alive.
Sure.
Like watching something like The Walking Dead, there's people that you can look at and go, oh, well, that guy's gonna get it.
Well, fucking the Nick Offerman character in the Last of Us TV show that we just watched this year. He was completely prepared back right before this happened, and all he basically just has to do is flip a switch, and he's ready to go.
And he's left alone, and he puts up a fence, and he just survives.
Right.
And that's pretty great. But, it's not always the preppers, the people who are like, oh, it's the end is nigh, and I must be ready.
Sure.
Like, it's an unhealthy way to exist in the here and now. But if you have a certain set of skills where you're good at building things, or hunting, or fishing, or just being really smart. Like, just being smart.
Yeah,
like
being resourceful.
Street smart and resourceful.
Yeah, being resourceful is very helpful in a situation like this, but I don't want to spend my time learning all this stuff just to have it not be useful later.
Nah, shit, we gonna die.
If the shit hits the fan, I'm just gonna say, you know what? Just off me now. I don't care.
Yeah, eat me.
Eat my brains.
Do you need
In
it?
a zombie apocalypse.
For your sustenance.
I will gladly tip my hat to you, and then you can eat my brains.
But yeah, then somebody like Gary, he didn't have anything else to live for, but his life wasn't that exciting to begin with. This is kind of all he did already. He just sort of wandered around and saw people and lived his life. He doesn't seem to have a job. He's always borrowing money from people. So a technological apocalypse doesn't really bother him that much.
No, he's thriving.
That's what I'm saying. It took the end of the world for him to find his place.
And there's a lot of stories like that in fiction where somebody was a nobody, in the real world, and then the apocalypse happened, whatever it happens to be, and they're thriving. It's just how it happens sometimes.
Well, and in this movie in particular, the way it's written, there's a lot of references. His name is Gary King, and they always talk about the once and future king and how he was this great guy and they'd follow him anywhere.
Yeah, he was worshipped by his friends.
Yeah, his followers. And there's a through line here about him being this royal figure and the coolest guy around and a king. And then by the end, he doesn't feel like that. It's all a front.
Yeah, he's back in his normal habitat with people following him.
Yeah.
So it makes sense now that we talked about that the blanks, the young blanks, they keep on talking about a bunch of band names, and we do that.
That's a great joke running throughout. It's like, oh, that'd be a good band name.
That'd be a great band name. Well, I suppose we've covered most of the main points here, but I know we both have some little things that we want to talk about. What do you got first?
Well, we would be remiss if we didn't mention that Pierce Brosnan is in this movie.
James Bond himself?
James Bond. And somebody pointed out in the behind the scenes stuff, oh yeah, Timothy Dalton was in Hot Fuzz. That makes 2 James Bonds that have been in this trilogy.
That's weird.
I hadn't even thought about it. And Rosamund Pike was apparently in one of the Pierce Brosnan Bond movies.
Okay.
Also didn't know that because I haven't seen that one.
Well, I have only ever seen GoldenEye, so you got me beat there. I haven't seen any of the other Brosnan.
I've seen 3? I think she must be in the one I haven't watched. I think there's just 4.
Okay, yeah.
But in any case, he's hit this weird part of his career where he keeps showing up in these funny little comedies in these weird little roles.
Right.
He's also in the Will Ferrell movie Eurovision.
Oh, I haven't seen that one, yeah.
Yeah, I think he plays his dad in that one.
Weird.
It's just very strange watching him show up in that. This is much more bizarre because in that he's kind of playing the stern father figure. In this one, he is the stern teacher figure, but he's also a glowing, creepy alien robot.
Right. Yeah, he's in the part of the movie where they reveal themselves as, hey, we're all these weird robot things.
Well, we know that they are, and they've sort of been revealing it, but this is where they get kind of scary.
Well, yeah, they really reveal themselves as being the fucking glowing things in the bar where they're all, like, they are legion. They're all one thing.
Yeah, they open their mouths and eyes really big, and they all just have light emitting forth.
Okay, in this scene, we'll get back to Brosnan. What's the deal with them hitting noise things in order to, like, activate themselves? In the bathroom, they hit the hand dryer thing, and in the bar, Pierce Brosnan hits the fire alarm thing, and the alarm goes off. Like, that's what triggers them to, like, turn their lights on, I guess.
I don't know. The first time it happened in the bathroom, my assumption was, oh, well, it's just this group, and we're trying to make a noise to drown out.
To mask out the fight that's gonna happen?
I would have to look into that one, because I didn't notice that Pierce Brosnan hit the fire alarm.
Yeah, he did.
And there's probably a lot more of that. And once they go, they don't bother with, covering it up anymore.
That only happens twice as far as I can tell.
Huh. No, I don't know. I did notice it with the hand dryer, but I didn't really think about it.
Right.
So I'm going to have to get back to you on that one.
Okay. If you've seen this movie and you know, let us know. But yeah, Brosnan is like this teacher principal guy, and he's there like waiting for them at like number 10, I think.
He's there to be like the
number
voice
9.
of reason.
Near the end,
yeah,
he's like a familiar face that they all know. They've all had him in school. And he's just there looking like himself. Everybody looks like themselves from back in 1990.
Yeah, and some of them are older because they are actually still human.
Right.
But those are the ones that know what's going on, and they're helping them along. And I don't know the dynamic. They don't really get into it. They don't really need to.
No.
You just need to know some of them are really human, and they're going along with it. Some of them are alien, but most of them are alien.
Right.
And the joke, of course, is what happens to the empties once they've taken them? Don't ask that!
Well, I figured it was going to be a lot more than that.
They mulched them, Trent. That's pretty fucked up.
I've seen movies like that before.
Soylent Green is people.
It's people. I haven't seen that movie.
I haven't either, but I mean, people scream that all the time.
Yes.
Well, and another person who appears in this movie, but only in voice form
Yeah.
is someone who was recently featured in another movie we did.
Yeah.
Bill Nighy, another repeat. He is also in all 3 of the Cornetto Trilogy movies.
Okay, again, because I've only seen those other movies a couple of times, I don't remember what he is in the first one.
He is, I think, his stepdad in the first one.
Okay.
He is the police chief in the second one.
I remember him in Hot Fuzz.
Yep. And then in this, he is, if you will, the voice of God. He is the head.
He is the network.
He is the network.
Right.
And he is the one that gets super exasperated when these puny little humans refuse to step in line.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, well, we're doing all these things. And they're like, how's that going for you?
Right.
I mean, we've had some problems.
Right.
But after a few minutes of arguing, he's just like, fuck it. I give up.
I'm done with you.
I'm done.
It's worthless to argue with you, stupid asses.
Well, and I love that it's literally 3 really, truly drunk guys.
Right.
And they say, we are more stubborn, more belligerent, and more idiotic than you could possibly imagine. And the human race will not go out without a fight.
Right.
So if you think the 3 of us are a problem,
Right.
just wait till you take on the rest of the planet.
Right. And I appreciate throughout the entire movie, they all get progressively more drunk.
It's consistent.
Yes.
It's not like they get drunk and then snap out of it. They're
Right.
still pretty drunk while they're fighting people.
And I've been around a lot of drunk people in my life, and they pretty much match how people actually are. Because at the beginning, everybody's just kind of having a good time. They're getting loose. And by the time Andy takes, 5 shots?
5 shots.
5 shots.
He's a big dude.
To catch up
He
to
needs
everybody
them.
else. Yes, he is a big dude. But he takes the 5 shots to catch up with everybody. And then they start, they go to, between, 5 and 6. They all walk together. They walk in unison. They step in unison.
Once they've figured out what is happening,
Yeah.
the best idea they have is to just go about their business to get out of there.
But that's drunk talk. That's drunk ideas. They keep on getting stupider.
Just act normal. And for them, normal is suddenly walking arm in arm, step in step, smiling and grimacing as they walk.
And while all of this is happening, we barely talked about Rosamund Pike much. There's even a scene where Steven gets on his knees and just proclaims his love for her.
He says, it's not coming from a man who has had 7 pints, even though I have.
Right.
It's not why I'm saying it. I just needed to tell you.
And while all this is happening, this is where your focus is.
It's drunk mentality. You're totally right. Which is why when they get to the 3rd stop and Martin Freeman is suddenly acting super sober and normal, I was like, oh shit.
Right.
He got separated from the group. He went to the bathroom by himself.
He went to the bathroom, yeah.
And then he came out of the bathroom and he was refreshed and ready to go. And then he started acting weird.
Hey, what you guys talking about?
Yeah. So it's just like, what did I miss? Oh, well, a lot, dude. You missed a lot.
Right.
And you start to figure out, oh shit, he's been replaced. And at the beginning of the movie, Simon Pegg gives the rundown of what happened when they tried this in 1990.
Sure.
And in the present day, his friends drop out the same way they did in 1990.
Yeah,
so Martin Freeman
stops,
is the first to go at the 3rd stop. Then the other guy drops a few more after that. And then the 3 of them at the end never make it, but they end up on a hill. And at the end of the movie, they're up on the hill. So it literally tells you at the beginning of the movie what's going to happen throughout this whole movie.
Yes.
All you have to do is pay attention.
Again, it's all there. It's all layered in.
It's brilliantly crafted.
It is.
These guys don't do anything without intention. Edgar Wright is a very precise director.
Yeah, we've talked, Betsy and I, a whole lot about Baby Driver and how that movie is constructed. Every single fucking frame in that movie needs to be there because it's all weaved in with the soundtrack.
They had to give them rehearsal notes with a click track.
Yeah. So this movie is no different, maybe a little bit less so than Baby Driver, but still, it's all intentional. And Baby Driver was kind of an action movie, but this movie is more of a traditional action movie because there's choreographed fight scenes.
Yeah, where Baby Driver's cars.
Yeah.
This is everybody who you've never really seen fight in a movie is fighting.
Kinda.
But it's also like Simon Pegg kind of fights in some sequences. When they get to one of the final pubs, he's just trying to drink his drink,
right.
and he's spending more time trying to keep the beer in the glass than do anything else.
Well, apparently it's very easy to pop one of these heads. Like, they're just barely glancing a glancing blow on the head and it pops.
Or they like twist it off and they just pull it right off.
Sure.
Right out of its socket.
Yeah, these bots are not well constructed.
No, and they're apparently interchangeable, because there's one fight where there's twins that are replaced by these alien robot beings.
Which also makes sense, because if they're twins, they would be interchangeable. Their limbs are.
Yes, but one of them puts the legs in their arms, and I've never in my life seen a fight where someone has legs for arms and someone screams, "Get your feet off of her." And you know exactly what they meant by that. It's wild. And you get, like I said, Nick Frost in full like wrestler mode. You get Simon Pegg like running around, just sort of dodging and weaving and being very like squirrely and wily, but hardly ever throwing a punch.
Yeah, and these other guys don't really do much fighting. It's just these other two.
And then there's people with like, you know, lawn umbrellas from one of the pubs, and they're using prop fighting. And actual umbrellas, I think, at one point.
Nick Frost is like, I think even in the poster, he's holding a chair, like a stool, and he breaks like a dozen of those.
Yeah, so it's using what's in your environment, which always makes for interesting fight choreography.
And I remember like the scene at the end of Shaun of the Dead where they're all kind of hunkering down in the bar. I just felt like this entire movie is that times 12.
That is another key thing in these movies is
there is
always a fight in a pub.
Yeah.
Or they always hang out in a pub.
There's always a pub, yeah.
Yes.
Well, I know there's one other thing that you wanted to mention, you know, just talking about how the movie was shot. Like, the fight choreography was pretty good, and how everything was cut together. The action was impressive for an Edgar Wright movie, anyway.
It's a lot of mobile camera work where they're getting really close and then pivoting and backing up, which is a lot of choreography to get the shot you want and not get stepped on.
And there's like digital cutting where you have the actor up on, like, getting up on top of a bar or a stool or something, then it kind of cuts to their feet, where it actually cuts to the stuntman who's up there.
No, they all did their own stunts. I believe it fully.
Right.
These 50-year-old men.
Right. And you also have, like, CG in a movie like this where you don't normally see CG in his kinds of movies.
Not a lot. He's another one of those guys that is very big on practical.
Yeah, and they didn't spend a whole lot of money on this stuff, clearly, because it looks kind of weird.
Listen, they had to spend the major budget on a giant explosion at the end. And unlike Christopher Nolan, they weren't about to spend it all on an actual explosion. It's all CG.
Yeah.
And there's like a robot centurion, whatever you call that thing. And he's like, that guy's like scoping the place out, looking for people.
An actual robot.
Yeah, an actual robot.
But anyway, the scene you wanted to talk about was another bathroom scene.
Yes, when they have Rosamund Pike show up and they've figured out what's going on and they want to get her to safety, Simon Pegg goes into the bathroom after her. And it's this seamless shot where we are looking at them and there is a mirror behind them.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, the problem is,
mirrors.
If you're facing a mirror, you're gonna see the camera.
Mirrors are a problem in movies.
So I have no idea how they did it, but you cannot see the mirror. If it's as simple as they put a green screen over it.
That was my guess. You actually had a separate shot of them recorded before or after, whatever.
And do it twice.
And they project that scene on the green screen, play it back at the same time that they're acting in the foreground.
I feel like it's so seamless, though, that it's probably less complicated than that.
I don't know. I know it's not like a mirrored thing, like no pun intended. I know it's not a mirrored shot because it does look a little different.
Well, it's a great shot.
It is.
And I would really like to know how they did it, because it's one of those things that your brain knows there's something weird about looking at this.
Yeah.
But it might even take you a minute to realize why it's weird.
It kind of has to be a green screen, because then how do you get rid of that camera?
I don't know. Secrets of movie making.
Yes.
Yeah, the only other thing I wanted to bring up was I like how the score kind of changes as it goes through the movie. So at the beginning, it's a lot of like 80s and 90s Brit rock. And then as it progresses and they figure out what's actually going on, it turns into like 1980s B horror movie synth music. Did you catch that?
No, I got a lot of the 90s stuff because that was kind of the joke.
Yeah, when they're kind of running around being chased by people with glowing eyes, it's very 1980s. Freddy Krueger's coming to get you, like,
maybe it's because I haven't seen a lot of those movies.
I don't know. I just, the clips that you hear, like you think of like Halloween and John Carpenter.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
That kind of vibe. It's all very synth forward, synth heavy, and I don't know. It just screams 1980s to me, and that's what I was hearing it throughout this movie as it got progressively, quote, scarier. Even though it's not really scary, for them it would be very scary.
Yeah, Edgar Wright should make a horror movie. Not like a horror comedy. He should just make a horror movie.
Strictly speaking, I think Last Night in Soho is kind of a horror movie.
Okay. Well, then we have something to look forward to on a future episode. Betsy, that's all I had to say about The World's End. Did you have any other thoughts?
I really want to watch this again. There's few movies where you just immediately want to turn around and do it again.
Yeah.
This is one that definitely bears repeating because of all those things we mentioned, where he's giving you everything. It's right in front of you, but you, the viewer, are so distracted by whatever's in the foreground, you're not paying attention to everything else around him.
Even some of the dialogue is telling. Like we were reading, like when they're in the bathroom and they're trying to make a call, and they say, well, I've got full bars, it must be the network.
Literally, they call it the network.
They call it the network.
And when you hear the out of order voice on the phone, it is Bill Nye.
It's Bill Nye on the out of order thing on the phones. Also on the phone when the preacher, the reverend guy, is at the bar, the call coming in for him is Bill Nye on the phone.
And at the very end, when they fuck right off, there's a dial tone like the phone is off the hook kind of noise.
Right.
But yeah, all that being said, I want to watch it again to look for all that stuff. Because I picked up on some of it.
Yeah.
But it's just astonishing reading all of that stuff to realize how much you missed that was right in front of you.
And again, I just want to go and watch Shaun of the Dead again.
We'll just do all three. Now we've seen them.
We got the whole thing,
We're going to do all three. Hell yeah! That sounds like a great Saturday.
Cornetto Trilogy Saturday. Here we go.
I want it. Who wants to come over and watch all three of these movies with us?
We're going to plan our Saturdays some other time. Betsy, I want to thank you for sitting here with me and watching this here movie. But we would actually love to hear from people who are not on this podcast.
Are you tired of me already, Trent?
No, I hear from you every single day. I want to hear from our listeners. Listeners out there, you can email us at neverseenitpod@gmail.com. You can also go to all of our social media stuff. You can reach out to us that way if you're not a Luddite who is clinging on to email.
If you'd like to write a handwritten note, I mean, I guess you can. We don't really have like a way you can send it to us,
We don't have a P.O. box.
Find the 6 degrees of who will get that letter to us.
I mean, we have gotten things via carrier pigeon in the past.
We did.
So you can try that. I don't think smoke signals are really in vogue anymore. You know, because there's, smoke everywhere these days.
A telegram, perhaps?
Telegram. How about a candygram? I'll take a candygram.
I would love a candygram.
Candygram us! All right. Instead of a candygram, we got a comment on one of our posts the other day about Oppenheimer, the last movie we covered. This is coming in from Eddie. He says, guaranteed Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Supporting Actor being Robert Downey Jr., Best Supporting Actress, Emily Blunt, and Best Director. That's a lot of nominations.
But in line with what we were saying.
Yeah. He says, that said, 45 minutes too long, and I lost track of what happens when... Oh, by the way, in Best Sound, enjoyed the intelligence of it all.
Yeah, it's a very highbrow, smart movie. That is the kind of thing that Christopher Nolan makes.
And it's the kind of thing that I really like.
And it is definitely going to get a ton of Oscar nominations.
Yep.
But we have to wait a lot of months before we get to it.
And we got a lot more movies yet to watch.
Right.
Thanks again, Eddie, for the comment on our stuff. Because again, I want to watch Oppenheimer again. Like, I am most interested in seeing that one again.
Most movies we watch, I want to see again. but with rare exception.
Yeah.
These are just ones that I definitely know in recent memory. We've had some bangers where it's just like, I can't wait. Let's do it.
Yep. All right. If you'd like to be like Eddie and all of our other contributors, email us neverseenitpod@gmail.com or follow us on all of these social media pages that we keep on telling you about. If you'd like to support the show, you can also find a link in every episode description. It'll take you to a page on Anchor where you can throw us $1 on there. What we would ask you to do is rate our show on whatever podcast app that you are currently listening to us on. And if you don't already have, Spotify, just download Spotify, find our thing, listen to an episode. It doesn't let you rate it without listening. Listen to an episode, let it go in the background, and then rate us 5 stars over there. That way we can game the system and put us in front of more people. I didn't actually say that. Betsy, thank you again for sitting down with me and watching this movie and doing this podcast and everything else in my life.
I love you.
I love you. And I love our listeners. We'll be back again with another episode of Never Seen It next time. My name is Trent.
My name is Betsy.
We'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.